Welcome back, guys, to part 2 of my new series. In the last episode we gave you 5 of the best Wonderkids to sign for your career mode, and today we have 5 more. Before we get into this video, make sure you hit that sub button below and head over to Twitter to follow me using the tag scrolling across your screen now. If you've watched the previous episode, you'll know that we have a competition running which gives you the chance of winning a copy of FIFA 22 on the platform of your choice. To be in with a chance of winning, all you have to do is comment below with who you think would be a top Wonderkid signing, and if that player is featured in this series, you'll receive a shout out in that video and will then be entered into the draw. The winner of the competition will be announced on my Twitter channel at the end of this series, so make sure you are following me on Twitter. Now that the pleasantries are out of the way, let's take a look at our first recommendation of the episode, and we have gone for the Kaiosaka. Having made the headlines recently for all the wrong reasons when he missed the decisive penalty in the Euro 2021 final, Saka is still one of the hottest young talents in football. Aged only 19 and representing Arsenal 46 times last season, Saka should slot nicely into your starting 11. The pacey winger scored 7 goals last season and will be a real handful for opposing defences. With a FIFA 22 rating of between 79 and 81 overall, Saka, under the right management, can grow to an 86 plus overall. Having become the first player to play in the Premier League who was born in the 21st century, he's not going to come cheap. Around 35 million should be enough to tempt Arsenal into selling, and as with all of these youngsters, you will have the chance to make a decent profit if you decide to sell in the future. Our next superstar in the making may be unheard of with some fans among us, and that player is Nachi Unavoi. Okay, so I imagine a lot of you are asking yourselves,
who the fuck is that guy? Who the fuck is that?
And I'm going to tell you, he's 18 years old and currently plays for Ajax. He can play on the wings or as a striker and was included in the Guardian's Next Generation 2020. He's yet to make his league debut, but scored a penalty in the KNVB Cup to become the youngest player to score for Ajax, beating the record of all-time great Clarence Seedorf. But that's not all. In that game, Kylian Mbappe was on spot kick duty. Unavoi asked the veteran if he could take the penalty, which he finished in sensational fashion. He obviously doesn't lack belief. Having already been scouted by Barcelona, you may find yourself in competition with some big teams to secure this signature. He's certainly a player for the future, and you should be able to pick him up for anything between 10 and 12 million. And with that Conor McGregor clip that you've just seen, that seamlessly links us into our next talent, and for this one, we're heading to Ireland. That's right, Ireland. I can see you all staring at the screen, waiting for the name to pop up, thinking, who can it possibly be? Well, let me tell you, it's Troy Parrott. Having already made his international debut for the Irish national team, Parrott is the modern day version of Robbie Keane. At 19 years old, Troy Parrott has played a similar role to what Harry Kane did in his younger days. He spent some time on loan at Millwall last season, which was scarred by injuries, and despite being recalled by Tottenham in January, he still made 14 appearances. He was then loaned out to Ipswich this time, making 18 appearances and scoring 2 goals. But don't let that figure put you off, because he has scored 14 goals in 25 appearances for Ireland, from the under-17s to the senior side. Tottenham will probably be looking to loan him out for another season before using him as Harry Kane's backup if Harry Kane stays at Tottenham. But this works into our hands, as we'll be able to pick him up for around 12 to 14 million. Now, on to the penultimate Wonderkid for this episode. You're all going to have heard of this guy already, but I can't go through this series without mentioning him. It's none other than Rennes' 17-year-old CDM, Eduardo Camavinga. With the likes of Sylvain Wiltord and Ousmane Dembele coming through the ranks at Rennes, well, Camavinga, he has some high expectations to live up to. But you know what? I think he's going to be the best of the lot. Already a first team regular for Rennes, and depending on what happens in this transfer window, there's one thing for sure: if he is still a Rennes player by the end of the window, then we can sign him in season 1 of our career modes. It's going to be expensive and he will only want to move to a big club, but if you're one of these clubs, you're going to have to fork out between 60 and 80 million. If Camavinga does join one of the rumoured clubs showing an interest, then unfortunately this signing will be off limits for season 1 and will probably cost you more in season 2, possibly going above the £90 million mark depending on his development. And finally, our last wonder kid for the episode is the Czech international Adam Clausek. Currently playing for Sparta Prague and with a max potential of 87 in FIFA 21, Clausek will be considerably upgraded for the release of FIFA 22. The 19-year-old striker / winger has already scored 28 goals in 85 games for Prague over the last 3 seasons. Clausek really burst onto the scene last season though, contributing 15 goals in only 19 appearances. Yet another youngster who became the youngest player in the club's history at the age of 16. He was voted the Czech Talent of the Year award in 2019, and at 6'2" tall, he could be a fantastic addition to those teams which like to play with 2 wingers and cross balls into the box. A figure of around 20 to 25 million will comfortably lure Clausek to your club, but if funds are quite tight, you may want to look at offering slightly less. So there we are, another 5 superstars down and another step closer to the FIFA 22 winner being announced. So head over and follow me on Twitter, as that's where the winner is going to be announced. And that's it. We've come to the end of part 2 in this series. Only 4 more episodes to go until we start a new series. Again, thank you all for watching my content. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you like this video, then hit the thumbs up and subscribe. And I'll see you at the same time next week for part 3, or 3, as Conor McGregor would say.